Have you ever felt like your life was falling apart for no clear reason? Like no matter how hard you try, things keep slipping through your fingers? What if I told you it might not be just bad luck? There are invisible forces at play in this world, and sometimes they aren't random. Across centuries, countless people have suffered not from fate, but from something far more: targeted spiritual attacks, curses, yes, real curses. Dark, focused energy aimed at disturbing your peace, draining your energy, and derailing your life. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But here's the thing, these curses don't always look like witchcraft in a horror film. They show up as patterns. Repeated failure, relationships crumbling without reason. That constant feeling that something is off, even when you're doing everything right. And the scary part? Most people never connect the dots. They brush it off as coincidence, when in truth, their spirit is under siege. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 unmistakable signs that someone might be targeting you with a curse. And even more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to break free. These aren't just random ideas. This is the same wisdom that's helped thousands of people around the world reclaim their peace, rebuild their confidence, and reawaken their inner energy. Now, before we dive in, I have one simple request. Don't skip anything. Even one missed detail could leave you vulnerable. Yes, you can speed up the video if you'd like, but promise me you'll stay fully tuned in. Once time is lost, we don't get it back. By the end of this video, you'll be able to spot the red flags, understand where that negative energy is coming from, and most importantly, learn how to protect yourself and reverse the damage. So let's begin right now with the very first warning sign. Have you ever walked into a room and felt a sudden, almost crushing heaviness? Like someone turned off the energy without flipping a switch? Earlier, we talked about that heavy, unshakable feeling like the energy in the room just shifted. Let's go deeper into what that really means. Sometimes, it hits you like a blanket thrown over your shoulders, a sudden weighty pressure you just can't explain. It creeps in without a sound, without warning. And no, it's not just in your head. That sensation of invisible heaviness is often the very first clue that someone is intentionally sending negative energy your way. I remember speaking with a woman who actually laughed when I brought this up. "That's just a normal Tuesday for me," she joked. But after we took a closer look at her energy patterns, something stood out. That Tuesday feeling? It began shortly after a tense confrontation at work with someone who, it turned out, practiced energy manipulation. Coincidence? Not quite. Your body is much more intuitive than you might think. It's like having a built-in radar system, one that senses danger long before your conscious mind catches up. When you're being cursed or targeted energetically, it's often your physical body that sends out the first alarm. You may start experiencing chronic fatigue, the kind no doctor can seem to explain, or headaches that come and go, always out of reach of any medication. Maybe you've been battling strange aches that seem to shift from one part of your body to another, always dodging treatment like a ghost. It's like a cruel game of whack-a-mole. Only it's your body playing it. And then there are the nights where you can't fall asleep no matter how tired you are. Or worse, nights filled with unsettling dreams, cryptic symbols, and lingering unease that clings to you long after the sun rises. But here's the moment of truth. Sign number 1, you're being cursed. You feel completely exhausted after spending time with a specific person. It's not just social fatigue. It's like they've hooked a straw into your soul and are sipping away your life force. One coffee with them, and it feels like you've run a marathon. Does that sound familiar? Now, how do you tell if it's a regular illness or something deeper? Here's the key difference. Normal sickness responds to medical treatment. But when nothing works, not the medicine, not the rest, not even time, it might be time to explore other influences. Here's a simple ritual that has brought relief to thousands. Take a small bowl, fill it with sea salt, and place it next to your bed before you sleep. Salt is a natural energy cleanser. It draws out and absorbs negativity. In the morning, take the salt outside your home and dispose of it. As you do, offer a quiet thank you to the earth. This ritual may seem simple, but sometimes it's the simplest practices that hold the greatest power. After learning how to clear your space and energy with salt and sound, let's now add a few more tools to your spiritual protection toolkit. For sound cleansing, you don't need anything fancy. A bell, a singing bowl, or even something as simple as a sharp clap of your hands can work wonders. As you walk through your space, especially into the corners where stagnant energy often hides, let the vibrations ripple through the air. These sound waves disrupt stuck or negative energy, like shaking dust off an old carpet. It's quick, powerful, and incredibly effective. But before we move into sign number 2, I want to share something incredibly useful. A basic energy scan you can perform on yourself anytime, anywhere. Here's how. Hold your hands about 6 inches away from your body. Now slowly move them from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. You're not touching yourself, just hovering. As you do this, stay alert. Notice anything unusual, a temperature change, a tingling sensation, or an odd feeling of resistance in a certain area. These are often signs that negative attachments may be clinging to your energetic field. When you sense something off, pause. Now visualize a bright, white light shining directly on that area. See it breaking up any darkness, dissolving the heaviness. As you breathe deeply, imagine that area being filled with clean, fresh, healing energy. It's like swapping out dirty water for crystal clear spring water. Doing this daily, even for just a few minutes, is like washing your hands, but for your energy. Think of it as essential hygiene for your spirit. In a world full of unseen chaos, this habit alone can help shield you from so much unnecessary damage. Now let's move forward. Have you ever gone through a stretch of time where it felt like everything was going wrong? Not just a tough day, but weeks or even months of frustrating setbacks, one after another. This brings us to sign number 2, a persistent pattern of misfortune that goes way beyond regular bad luck. Let me tell you a story. One of my clients, Anne, incredibly capable, successful businesswoman, suddenly found herself surrounded by chaos. Her computer crashed, but only during important client meetings. 3 separate financial deals, all fully confirmed, mysteriously fell apart at the last second. Even her vacation plans unraveled in ways that didn't make sense. Flights were canceled even when skies were clear. Hotel bookings vanished from the system, even though she had the confirmation numbers right there in her inbox. But the most disturbing part? Her house keys, locked safely inside her parked car, disappeared while she was out shopping. She searched everywhere, nothing. Days later, they reappeared in the exact spot she had checked a dozen times before. "I feel like I'm losing my mind," she told me, tears welling up. "It's like someone's watching me and enjoying every second of my struggle." Now that story might sound extreme, but the truth is, many people have experienced versions of this without realizing what's really going on. That story we just shared wasn't just about bad luck. It was a glimpse into something much more targeted. When strange misfortunes stack up across different parts of your life, and logic no longer explains them, your intuition starts ringing the alarm. And you must listen. That unsettling sense that someone is enjoying your downfall isn't paranoia. It's your inner wisdom speaking. When everything begins to unravel at once, relationships, finances, health, mood, it's often a sign that you're dealing with intentional negative energy. Not just a string of bad days, but why would someone curse you? Understanding that can be key to identifying who's behind it. Most curses don't come out of nowhere. They're born from powerful, often ugly, emotions. Jealousy, revenge, or the need to control. Sometimes it's someone who sees your light and can't stand it. They envy your peace, your success, your joy. They don't know how to build what you have, so they try to break it instead. It might come from a coworker locked in a silent rivalry, a jealous ex or romantic triangle, a relative bitter over inheritance, a business competitor who wants to knock you down a peg. Ask yourself this: who benefits when things go wrong for you? Who always seems to appear when you're vulnerable, offering help or slipping in those odd backhanded comments? Here's something powerful you can do. Start a small journal of unusual events. It doesn't have to be fancy, just consistent. Every time something odd happens, write it down. Include the date, time, a quick description of what occurred, and, most importantly, who you were with or interacted with recently. After 2 weeks, go back and read through your notes. Patterns often emerge that weren't obvious at first. You might begin to see the same names, the same timing, the same energy. Now, let's talk about protecting yourself. One of the most effective ways to shield your energy is by creating a spiritual barrier through visualization. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Now imagine a golden light forming in the center of your chest, right at your heart. With each exhale, let that golden light expand. Watch as it grows outward, wrapping you in warmth and light. Soon, it forms an egg-shaped shield all around your body. As you hold that image, say aloud, "I am protected by divine light." Negative energy bounces off my shield and returns to sender with harm to none. Only love and positive energy may enter my space. Feel the warmth sealing around you. That shield is your armor. It's simple, but it works especially when you make it part of your daily routine. And for even more protection, let's talk about physical barriers for your home or workspace. Try placing small bowls of sea salt mixed with protective herbs like rosemary or bay leaves at the entrances to your space. You can also place black tourmaline stones in the corners of rooms. These help absorb negative energy before it can spread. If these practices have been helpful so far, just imagine how powerful you'll feel by the time we reach the end of this guide. Now, let's keep going, because there's one moment when you're especially vulnerable. When the conscious mind is asleep and the subconscious is wide open. Let's talk about what happens when you close your eyes at night, as we discussed earlier. The moment your conscious defenses go down, when your body is resting, is often when you're most vulnerable. And this is where the third sign of a curse reveals itself: disturbances in your sleep and dreams. This is one of the most intimate and unsettling forms of spiritual interference. It doesn't just affect your body, it reaches into your soul, your mind, and the very space where you're meant to feel safe and restored. When you begin to experience vivid, recurring nightmares or strange dream patterns, it's not just random. It's a sign of spiritual warfare unfolding on the astral plane. Your dream world is deeply personal, as unique as your fingerprint. So when something foreign begins to invade that sacred space, your spirit feels it instantly. These aren't your typical bad dreams. These are strategic, energetic attacks, carefully designed to weaken you when you're least guarded. You might find yourself dreaming about unusual symbols, snakes slithering through your dreams when they've never appeared before. Shadowy figures wearing strange clothes or jewelry, or maybe the same odd object showing up again and again, night after night. These are not random details. They are calling cards, evidence that someone is sending targeted negative energy your way. One particularly chilling experience many people report is being chased or attacked in a dream by a faceless, shadowy figure. You hear their footsteps. You run, and just when you turn to face them, they vanish into darkness. This dream isn't just about fear. It reflects a curse working behind the scenes, draining you energetically and leaving you more exposed during your waking hours. You may also experience dream patterns like falling endlessly, drowning, or being trapped in shrinking spaces, symbols that all point toward emotional manipulation intended to plant seeds of helplessness, fear, and inner defeat. And you know the feeling, waking up gasping, sweating, with your heart racing, like the nightmare followed you back into the real world. But perhaps the most disturbing phenomenon is the presence of unknown entities, beings that don't belong. You may sense them watching you, standing silently at the foot of your bed, or even trying to speak to you. These aren't dreams, they're visitations. And they leave behind an unmistakable feeling, something from another realm crossed into yours. Now let's talk about the 3 a.m. phenomena, common thread among those under spiritual attack. If you keep waking between 3 o'clock and 3:30 a.m., it's no accident. This window, directly opposite 3 p.m., believed by many traditions to be the time of Christ's death, is considered by many spiritual teachings to be a moment of heightened negative activity. It's when the veil is thinnest and dark energies are most active. So how do you protect your dream space? Start by visualizing a dome of golden or white light completely covering your bed before you sleep. As you picture this light, say firmly, "My dream space is sacred and protected. Only positive energy and healing guidance may enter while I sleep." Under your pillow, you can place a sachet filled with protective herbs like mugwort, lavender, and rosemary, plants long used to shield the spirit during sleep. Nearby, keep a small piece of clear quartz or amethyst to amplify this protection and absorb anything harmful before it reaches you. And just before you close your eyes, try this simple ritual. Light a white candle, make sure it's far from anything flammable, and gently wave it clockwise around your sleeping area. As you do, speak these words aloud. Light dispels all darkness. My rest is peaceful and protected. Then extinguish the candle safely. These ancient techniques have helped countless people reclaim their sacred sleep space and break the grip of curses that strike during the night. The difference in your rest, your energy, and your clarity when you wake up can be truly life-changing. Now as we move forward, let's explore the 4th sign, one that hides in plain sight, often disguised as everyday emotional struggle. After learning how curses can disturb your sleep and drain your spirit during the night, it's time to explore how these attacks can also spill over into your waking relationships and cause emotional chaos. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a healthy, loving relationship suddenly fall apart for no clear reason? One day, everything feels solid. Then almost overnight, tension creeps in, arguments start from nowhere, and distance forms where closeness used to be. This leads us to sign number 4 of a spiritual curse: relationship breakdowns and social isolation, deliberate disruptions that target your support system. You see, when negative energy is directed at you, it doesn't just attack your mind or your body. It goes after your connections. Because those bonds, your friendships, your family ties, your romantic relationships, are your emotional armor. And if someone wants to truly weaken you, the first step is to cut you off from the people who protect you. Think of it like a spiritual version of military strategy. Isolate the target, then move in for the full attack. The signs are deeply unsettling. Friendships that have survived for years through thick and thin suddenly break apart over small misunderstandings. These aren't normal disagreements that you can work through with a simple conversation. Instead, they're fueled by irrational anger, emotional outbursts, and a strange shift in personality. No matter how hard you try, it feels impossible to reconnect or explain yourself. And family isn't exempt. Loved ones who have always had your back suddenly begin to withdraw. They cancel plans, avoid your calls, or grow cold without any real explanation. When you ask them why, they can't pinpoint a reason. They just say things like, "I don't know, something just feels off." Romantic relationships, perhaps the most emotionally charged of all, often take the biggest hit. Partners who once loved and supported you now seem suspicious, distant, or even cold. They might accuse you of things out of the blue: cheating, lying, hiding things when there's no evidence at all. They misinterpret your words, feel physically uneasy around you, or act like they don't know who you are anymore. That once effortless intimacy, it now feels like walking on eggshells, and it doesn't stop there. Even in social settings, you might begin to feel an invisible wall between you and others. Friends stop reaching out, invitations vanish. You walk into a room and sense people pulling away, like your energy has suddenly become unwelcome, even though nothing about you has changed. It's as if someone placed a spiritual "keep out" sign over your head, visible only to the people you care about. These experiences aren't imagined. They're part of a larger spiritual strategy, one designed to leave you isolated, unsupported, and easy to control. But how do you stop it? As we just explored, spiritual attacks often isolate you from your relationships. But to truly heal and protect those bonds, we need to understand how these disruptions work on an energetic level. Curses that target relationships don't just stir up drama, they function like static on a phone line, interfering with the natural energetic connection between you and those closest to you. It's subtle but powerful. When someone interacts with you while you're under this influence, the negative energy surrounding your field may transfer onto them, and they won't even realize it. What they feel is discomfort, unease, a weird emotional fog. And without knowing why, they begin to associate that strange energy with you. That's how the wedge is driven in. So how can you tell if one of your relationships is under spiritual attack? Pay close attention to timing and patterns. Did multiple relationships break down around the same time? Did everything start to shift after a particular conflict or fallout, maybe with someone who holds resentment toward you? Also ask yourself, are people around you reacting in ways that feel wildly disproportionate to what's actually happening? If minor issues lead to intense reactions, or people cut you off without clear reason, there's a good chance something deeper is going on. Now, let's talk about how to cleanse and protect your relationships from this energetic sabotage. Here's A simple but effective ritual. For each relationship you want to restore, light 2 white candles, one for you and one for the other person. Place them side by side. As they burn, visualize a golden cord of light connecting the 2 flames. See this cord dissolving any darkness or interference between you. Let the light clear the path for genuine understanding and emotional peace too. Return. When speaking with someone you feel may have been affected by this energy, your words can cut through the fog. Try saying something like, "I feel like there's something coming between us that doesn't actually belong to either of us. Can we talk about when things started to change?" This kind of honest, intuitive statement can often disrupt the curse's grip, opening the door to healing. For deeper restoration, try this ritual in a quiet, undisturbed space. Write the person's name on a small piece of paper. Fold it toward you, never away, while saying, "What belongs together shall not be separated." Our true connection rises above all interference. Clarity and understanding return now. Carry this folded paper with you close to your body until the relationship begins to improve. This isn't superstition. These are energetic techniques grounded in centuries of wisdom, aimed at neutralizing spiritual interference and restoring the natural emotional flow between people. Used with focus and consistency, these rituals act like tuning forks, realigning the frequency of your relationships and helping dissolve the hidden wedges that were driving you apart. Now let me ask you, have you ever felt a sudden chill down your spine when thinking about someone? A strange sense that you're being watched, even when you're alone? Or maybe your pet stares into a corner of the room, growling at something invisible? If so, it's time to pay close attention, because we're about to dive into something even more unsettling. After talking about those eerie chills and unseen presences, we now arrive at the final sign of a spiritual curse, one that often whispers before it screams. Sign number 5 is about your intuition, those subtle yet powerful signals your body and spirit send you before your mind can catch up. Often, these messages come not in words, but in feelings. Unshakable sensations, fleeting images, physical reactions that seem to come out of nowhere. Have you ever suddenly felt goosebumps rise on your skin, even though the air wasn't cold? Or maybe someone's name popped into your head, and in that exact moment, your heart skipped a beat or your body tensed up. These aren't coincidences. They're your energetic alarm system, alerting you to a potential attack before logic even gets involved. Persistent thoughts about someone who may wish you harm, especially if they appear just as you're drifting to sleep or waking up, are often intuitive warnings. These twilight moments are when your conscious mind is quietest, and when spiritual interference can most easily make itself known. And then there's the sense of being watched when no one's around. You turn your head, but nothing's there. Still, the hairs on your neck stand up. Our logical mind is trained to dismiss this kind of thing, to call it imagination. But often, it's the first true sign that something unseen is messing with your energy field. And here's something fascinating. Children and animals are especially sensitive to these shifts. Why? Because they haven't yet been conditioned to ignore their instincts. If your pet suddenly refuses to enter a certain room, if your child starts acting anxious or fearful around someone they previously loved and trusted, don't brush it off. Take it seriously. These signs may be warning flags that something dark is at play. So what can you do to protect yourself? The first step is grounding. Each morning, if possible, stand barefoot on the earth, even just for a few minutes. Visualize strong, healthy roots growing from the soles of your feet deep into the ground. As you breathe, imagine drawing up clean, stable energy, strengthening your connection to the earth and reinforcing your inner shield. Once grounded, you can move into a more comprehensive protection ritual that combines everything we've covered so far. Here's what you'll need. 1 white candle for clarity and light, a bowl of sea salt, protective herbs such as rosemary, bay leaves and sage, a small mirror, a bowl of fresh water. This ritual is most effective during the waning moon phase, and ideally performed on a Saturday a day, traditionally linked to protection and spiritual cleansing. When setting up your ritual space, place the mirror facing away from you. This symbolizes the deflection and reflection of harmful energy, sending it back to wherever it came from, without absorbing it yourself. And that's just the beginning of the ritual. Previously, we prepared the sacred space and gathered the tools needed to shield ourselves from spiritual attacks. Now let's walk through the final steps of the ritual that not only dissolves lingering negative energy but sends it back to where it came from. That begin by arranging the remaining items, your herbs, salt, water, and mirror, in a semicircle between you and the mirror, with the mirror still facing away from you. This positioning acts as both a boundary and a symbolic wall of reflection. Next, light the white candle, and as the flame begins to glow, clearly speak your intention out loud. I reclaim my energy and personal power. All negative influences are now revealed and released. Feel the words as you say them. Speak with clarity and conviction. Then, sprinkle the herbs into the bowl of salt, one by one. As you do, visualize any lingering curses or energetic attachments appearing as tangled black threads. See them slowly being drawn into the salt, pulled from your field, and neutralized by the earth's cleansing energy. Now, pick up the bowl of fresh water. Begin pouring it over the salt and herb mixture, and as the elements mix, say aloud, as water dissolves salt, so are these negative energies dissolved and neutralized. They hold no power over me. Take a moment to steady your breath. Now, gaze into the candle's reflection in the mirror, not your own reflection, but the flame itself. Focus on that light. Let it symbolize renewal, cleansing, protection. Then, speak this powerful declaration. Any energy sent to harm me is now transformed and returned to its source as healing light, with harm to none. My boundaries are restored. My spirit is cleansed. My protection is complete. Once finished, gather the salt and herb mixture and place it in a paper bag. Dispose of it at a crossroads or in running water, a stream, river, or even the ocean somewhere nature can carry the energy away, completing the cycle of release. If safe, allow the candle to burn out naturally. Its full burn represents the final sealing of the cleansing ritual. This isn't just a symbolic gesture. It's an energetic reset, a spiritual realignment that not only breaks harmful influences at their root, but also fortifies your field against future intrusions. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. From unexplained misfortunes and disturbing dreams to emotional isolation, strange intuitive warnings, and this final ritual of release. These 5 signs work together as both a warning system and a map to reclaim your power. Remember, your body is your first and most loyal spiritual ally. Those sudden chills, gut instincts, or quiet whispers in your dreams, those are your guardians. To stay strong, treat your spiritual health like your physical health. Practice daily energy hygiene. Carry protective stones like black tourmaline, Nourish your body with cleansing foods, lemon water, sea vegetables, grounding herbs. Because awareness is always the beginning of transformation. And when you act on that awareness, you shift from being a victim to becoming a spiritual warrior. So trust your intuition. Honor its voice. Let it lead you again and again, back to your truth, your clarity, and your unshakable light. You are protected. You are powerful. And now you are free.